Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Yes, this is the third video in one day and it's gonna be short. Just want to show you something. As you all know, my RO water's got a TDS reading of 10. Count the plants. Okay, I've done that one and that one. Now okay, those three have got large amounts of moss on. Yeah? I've done the tenuifolia down there that hasn't got too much moss on, but it's older moss. These have all been done recently, so it's quite new moss. That's been on there quite a while. I've done that phalaenopsis that's got virtually no moss. That's almost bare rooted. That phalaenopsis has got some moss. In fact, it's got too much, but most of the roots aren't in it. They've actually decided to go down on that mount. And I've done that little group of tolumnias. They are on varying amounts of moss from a small amount. Small amount. And that one's doing well. Loads of new ropes on that one. Anyway, so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tolumnias. And I've done my 2 Rhynchostylis giganteas. And those are in pure bark. Yeah? With that number of plants, my TDS reading has gone from 10 to 94. I will now change my water and start flushing again. Just a little reminder why we flush. Now, if you flush with clean water through your plants and don't share your water, that can't happen. So just a reminder, everybody who shares water, when you're doing a flush, you might not be doing as much of a flush as you think you are the more times you reuse your water. Okay, because I've been feeding at higher levels since I made the discovery, flushing now becomes more important. Yeah, I mean that's not that many plants and I've already got a reading in there, so I am washing out some salts that had built up in those plants. I'm not trying to identify which ones hold more than any others. All I'm trying to identify is the point at which I need to change the water. Yeah? So if some of those have been flushed with water that's at a TDS level of 80, that's still a hell of a lot less than if I was using my tap water or my filter water. So they're still getting a flush. They're getting whatever was in their moss in this case, or in their bark in those two's case, whatever was in there is now incredibly diluted down to next to nothing. Still a flush. But if I keep going at this rate of knots, you know, I'll be heading up 200, 250, yeah? The more number of plants I try and flush, and at that point I'm not flushing them anymore, I'm feeding them. Defeats the object. So just remember, every now and again your plants need a flush. It's important to get rid of any salt buildup in the media, because you still don't know which bits of the fertiliser the orchids used and which bits have been left behind. I can virtually guarantee that whatever's left behind is an imbalance. Yeah? So give them a good wash. Every now and again give them a flipping good wash through with clean water. Clear the decks. And then the next time you feed, you know what you're putting back in is what you know. Yeah, rather than the unknowns again. Okay, just a quick reminder, don't forget to flush. I'm flushing my dailies every 4th watering at the moment, which when it's warm weather is every 4th day. That's a lot of water going down the drain, but I have to do it. I'm not shirking on that. I had a lot of build up last year. I'm not letting it happen again, especially with higher levels of feed. Okay, so just a reminder. I mean, with some pots, if you think about it, if I'm only watering them once every, say, 6 days, and I feed them 3 times and flush them once, I'm flushing them not far off once a month. You know, once every 3 to 4 weeks. So it's far less frequent, far less of a big deal. But when you've got mounted orchids in moss, they can still have a salts build up. And even if they're entirely bare rooted, you can still get roots that dry fast that haven't had chance to absorb all the nutrients you've just given them. And whatever they haven't absorbed is still sat on those roots. So, Vandas bucket, it's actually got something in it at the moment, but irrelevant. That's RO water, no feed. Even my bare rooted Vandas get a wash off in clean water. Now normally I just dunk them and hang them up to drain, but when they're getting a wash up, I have a good go at that. I leave them to soak, dissolve anything that's on those roots into that water, and then give them a slosh. I would imagine, can't prove it, that those roots are now clean and the plant is hydrated, which is why I put it in the bucket in the first place. But no food that time. Don't need feeding every time. Okay, so just a quick reminder, don't forget to flush your plants every now and again. You will get build-up. Yeah? Okay. Thanks for dropping by. I managed to do that without mentioning science, didn't I? Oh, damn it. Done it again. See you next time. An afterthought. There's always one, isn't there? Somebody is going to say, how do you flush your orchids? I'll show you. The camera's in a funny place, it's just propped up. Better not fall off. I'd rather drop an orchid. But basically, if you look at this mount, it's got quite a lot of moss in where it was originally mounted, but a lot of the roots since have gone aerial. But that moss is quite old, you know, so it has an element of breaking down in it, which has an element of acidity, as well as a build-up of salts. So basically, I pour water over them. No mucking about. Lots and lots of water. And make sure that that moss is absolutely wringing wet. And I keep going. I don't stop. They get a lot. There's roots up the back of the bark. That needs a flush too. But most important is the moss. The aerial roots rinse off very quickly. Literally, the fertilisers that are used are designed to dissolve virtually instantly in water. Well, mine is anyway. So, yeah, I'm hydrating the plant at the same time. It is actually getting a watering, but literally a good soaking over and over again. Yeah? Now I've got a wet hand, I've got to turn the camera off. Problems. Okay, so save anybody asking, that's how I would flush a mount that's got moss on. I'd do the same with a bare rooted one, I just don't need quite so much water. Okay, so that is well and truly flushed. Done.